Oh, this was in Virginia. We went to another service. It was the congregation of one of our investigators, and this investigator, he clearly had some psychological issues. But we were helping him, and he was willing to accept the lessons. And he invited us to go to church with him one Sunday. Well, it was also the Sunday of General Conference, and so church was going to be a little bit later for us. So we thought, yeah, we can go to his church if he'd like us to go. He's receiving us into his home, so why don't we go to his church? Well, we get there, and so this was in Roanoke, Virginia, Southern Virginia, and we get there. And it was a very small congregation. There were only about 20 people. And I was in a trio at that time. We were the only white people in the congregation, if I can say that. And not that that's a problem, but it was just, I think they were eyeing us like, aren't you boys like in the wrong place, kind of, And it was interesting, this congregation, their leader was a man who called himself a prophet. So that was kind of interesting. I don't remember his name, but he said he was the prophet. And so he received the word of God. And it was a very interesting experience. We were in the back, and everyone was, when we got there, someone was up at the front praying very rapidly, kind of screaming, praying very fast, kind of the warm-up show for the preacher. And then the preacher gets there, and he gets everyone speaking in tongues and praying and receiving the word. And we felt completely out of place. I didn't feel very good about the situation. And then he started preaching. Well, he saw us. I mean, everyone saw us. We were in the back, but no one could miss us, So he started, preaching directly at us, saying, "Oh, you boys think you know everything, don't you?" Or something like that, And the thing is, he would just get the people going, laughing at his jokes, and I remember he said, I received the word of God, and everyone thinks they know the Bible. Well, everyone else says that Jesus is the only Son of God. Well, then who was the father of Adam? And so he was saying, God is the father of Adam, so Adam and Jesus are the Son of God. And everyone thinks that only Jesus is. And so he starts laughing. And everyone in the congregation starts laughing, thinking, oh man, this guy, he knows his stuff, he's the greatest. And it was just a very interesting conversation. He came up to us and he started preaching in our face. And I decided, and it was a good thing, I had my quad in my hands. And I just remember squeezing that quad and saying, oh, please help me control myself. Because I just wanted to get up there and say, where do you come off? I wanted to get up there and start preaching like he did, right in his face. But I felt, okay, just sit still, be calm. And it was that helped. But I also decided I wasn't going to be laughing at his terrible jokes, his doctrinally unsound jokes, but it was an interesting experience to hear him as a prophet, And the time came when we had to actually leave because we had to go to General Conference, and luckily we left right before the healing, so that would have been a little interesting to see. But we left right before the healings, and we went to General Conference in the Stake Center. And it was the most interesting experience because, we went to General Conference to see the prophets and hear their words. And it was interesting, this kind of what's the word? The contrast, yeah. It was interesting to see the contrast because this other man who claimed he was a prophet, he really didn't make us feel comfortable. I didn't feel the Spirit. And then we came to General Conference and heard our prophets. And I remember hearing President Eyring just welcoming the visitors, making sure that they felt good about being there. And I could feel the Spirit, and it was just a completely different scenario. And I knew that those men speaking, the prophets and the apostles in General Conference were really prophets, just because of that contrast. It was made even more clear and plain to me. It was very interesting.